the best equipment that we could afford to purchase and use, which I have to tell you the truth, is not very much. Please take that into consideration when viewing this tape and understand that we have done the best possible job that we can do under the circumstances to bring you a quality documentary. All footage is authentic and all aerial shots were taken over the test site. Introducing General of the Army Douglas MacArthur with portions of a speech delivered before the Corps of Cadets of the United States Military Academy at West Point on May 12, 1962. The General spoke without a prepared address, without even notes.
You now face a new world, a world of change. The thrust into outer space of the satellite spheres and missiles mark the beginning of another epoch in the long story of mankind. In the 5 or more billions of years the scientists tell us it has taken to form the Earth, in the 3 or more billion years of development of the human race, there has never been a more abrupt or staggering evolution. We deal now not with things of this world alone, but with the illimitable distances and as yet unfathomed mysteries of the universe. We are reaching out for a new and boundless frontier. We speak in strange terms of harnessing the cosmic energy, of making winds and tides work for us, of creating unheard synthetic materials to supplement or even replace our old standard basics, to purify seawater for our drink, of mining ocean floors for new fields of wealth and food, of disease preventatives to expand life into the 100 of years, of controlling the weather for a more equitable distribution of heat and cold, of rain and shine, of spaceships to the moon, of the primary target in war no longer limited to the armed forces of an enemy, but instead to include his civil population, of ultimate conflict between a united human race and the sinister forces of some other planetary galaxy.
everybody. My name is Keith Ranch, and tonight we're here in Las Vegas, Nevada at KVEG radio station, and we're here exploring the UFO phenomena that is exploding in Las Vegas. We're here with Mr. Billy Goodman. How you doing, Billy?
Fantastic, Keith. Welcome to Las Vegas.
We are really excited, really excited tonight. We're going to go out to a place called Groom Lake,
Right.
where thousands of people have been calling in reportings of UFOs.
Oh.
Can you tell us about the happening and what is going on with this explosion out here?
It's unreal. What has happened is, first of all, the way it occurred is that we found out through Bill Cooper that there was some activity going on at a location called Groom Lake, which followed up with this UFO hotline out of Los Angeles.
Right.
That corroborated that there was something happening. So we talked about it on the Billy Goodman happening, and one thing led to another, and people said, we want to go out there. So we said, okay, let's put together a little trip. And we did. And a couple of Saturdays ago, you had to see this, Keith, to believe it. Over 100 people sitting in a circle in folding chairs with cameras in the middle of the desert. Now, you've got to visualize. Cars and trucks pulled off to the side, vans, everything, buses, all pulled off to the side.
Look.
And they saw these lights all over the place. And now we left because we had to get the bus back to Las Vegas, but people stayed overnight, and they saw over 20 other sightings overnight of lights and activity that is unexplainable. You have to understand the area of Groom Lake is off limits to regular air travel and to Air Force and Navy. So no other planes are going to be flying over there except what is happening at Groom Lake. And
Yeah, I understand that you can actually be shot down if you fly in that airspace.
I can't, because I won't do it. You know, I'm not about to fly over there. Yes, if anybody from the Air Force, the Navy, or commercial airlines, yes, they will be shot down. There's no question about it.
Who is Bill Cooper exactly?
Bill Cooper is a gentleman who was an ex-member of the Naval Intelligence Briefing Team. And he was honorably discharged in 1972 from the United States Navy. While in the Navy, as part of the Pacific Fleet, he spotted UFOs literally coming out of the water while he was on watch.
Coming out of the water?
Out of the water while he was on watch. Not only did he spot the UFOs, but other members of the Pacific Fleet also saw what he saw. Now, these UFOs not only came out of the water and flew around and did some tricks for them, they didn't do it once. They did it a number of times. Out of the water, back into the water, come out and do some flip-flops for them, and then back into the water. So this man knows for a fact, number one, he saw them with his own eyes. But that's not all. That's not all. The other part is that while he was in the process of being a part of the Naval Intelligence Briefing Team, he had the opportunity to look at some top security papers, and he saw it in writing that, in fact, there were UFO craft in captivity and aliens in captivity.
Actual aliens?
Actual aliens in captivity over the years.
Okay, well listen, I guess we're going to have to wrap it up here. One more question. Have you been out to Groom Lake yourself?
I was there.
And what did you see?
I saw lights up in the sky, zigzagging. That's all I can tell you. In other words,
could they have been our aircraft? Did they act like something we may have?
No. Planes don't do that I know of. Now, I'm not saying we don't have something that we don't know of that's going on at Groom Lake. But you don't see planes zigzagging up and down, flying horizontally, going up and coming down. You don't see those things as far as I know with the planes that I'm familiar with. I'm not that much into aeronautics, don't get me wrong.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go out there and check it out for ourselves.
Do it.
So, thanks for the interview, and we will talk to you later.
The only thing I regret is I cannot be with you folks. But I was there, and now it's your turn.
Okay, well, we'll let you know what happens tonight.
I know you will, but Charles Ellery will be out there. And Charles Ellery is my guide. And he's the one who brought us out to 29.5-mile marker on Route 375.
Well, you heard it
You're
from...
on the air, Billy.
Oh.
He's on the air. Well...
No, I'm not. But I guess...
We'll catch up with it.
As far as UFO activity and unsolved mysteries, decided to go into it and to look into what happened at Roswell, New Mexico. I want to read you a little letter that's dated September 21. As a matter of fact, it just got to the radio station today. It took a while to get here. I don't know why. Perhaps she did not mail it. But listen to this. In the late 40s, early 50s, my father was a civilian employee at Wright Air Development Center, now called Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. He was an eyewitness to several pictures of the craft, as well as documents that were circulated among the key personnel in the government. What is being told now is something I have grown up with. My entire family has known of this since I can remember. But we, like the others, were sworn to silence. We were all too aware of the problems my dad would face if we said too much. Can you believe this, Dave? It goes on and on. Even though we knew that things from other planets did exist, she's not saying think, she knew things from other planets did exist, we tried to deny it to ourselves because even a few years ago, to mention such things in public would have bought us one-way tickets to the funny farm. That's only the beginning. There's more with this letter. I mean, there's so much more. This is nothing compared to the mail that I just received today of people telling us that finally the fact is that they have seen or they know of UFOs. Favor, zoom in on this little puppy. Look at it. Can you hear that noise in the background, folks? And camera 4, zoom in on this. This is, I guess it's a Tesla coil. Is that correct? Anybody nod your head? This is the Tesla coil. Now, you've heard me talk on the air about Nikola Tesla. Well, somebody, Ted Rice, brought this down tonight. Look at this. Isn't that something? That is fantastic. All I'm doing is touching it with the tip of my finger, and you hear that. I'm touching this. It looks like a crystal ball type thing, only it's not a crystal ball. And there's a lot of electronic stuff, and all it is plugged into the wall in restaurants. I think I'm seeing the very same thing, where you see them sort of flaring out, and you probably have seen these at the Elephant Bar and shenanigans, but this is something else. Hey, camera 4, zoom in on this puppy. Look at that. Oh, wow, I feel like I'm electrified.
Are the rumors that presidents have been briefed on aliens and UFOs true? Has a president ever said anything about extraterrestrials or unidentified flying objects? Let's see.
But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us?
When I left Vietnam, I was sent to the USS Charles Berry 1035 for a short period with NIS Naval Investigative Service to conduct an investigation on board that vessel. 3 months later, I left, was transferred to the staff of the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Pacific Fleet, who at that time was Admiral Bernard Clary, and was specifically attached to his intelligence briefing team. I also stood watches. In the Navy, you have a primary job. Some people don't know this, so let me explain it. In the Navy, you have a primary job, which you do. You also have to stand additional duty, which is called watches in the Navy. My watch station was Petty Officer of the Watch in the Command Center, which meant I was the senior enlisted man in the Command Center, in charge of the Command Center and the information. I was also the designated speak-out operator, which meant top secret, crypto, communications that came in under a specialized, compartmentalized category. I was the only one on watch who was allowed to handle that information and direct it to the specific place where it was to go. Now, normally these things are handled by radio men and communications technicians in a communications center. But in a command center where they have to have information instantly, everything that goes to the communications center also comes to the command center, so that there is not a delay in important information, urgent information getting to the right people who have to make command decisions. It was there that I saw documentation that I have to tell you right now could have been shown to me or given to me, or I could have been put in that position in order to see these documents so that I would specifically talk about them later. I'll tell you why in just a few moments that might have occurred. I don't believe that's the case. I believe that the information that I saw was real, was accurate, and is occurring. The documents stated that extraterrestrials were real, that UFOs were piloted by them and had been visiting this Earth for many, many thousands of years, that there was a project called Aquarius that had researched this history and compiled the history from written human records, starting with the ancient tablets left by the Sumerians, the Assyrians, the Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, right up to modern times. These documents were quite thorough and very convincing, believe me. There was documentation that the United States had actually recovered crashed alien craft. The first one occurred near a small town called Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The crash site actually covered 2 locations. One location was on a ranch belonging to a Mr. Brazel. The other location was approximately 60 miles from there, where the main bulk of the craft had come down, from which they had removed 3 dead alien bodies. I saw photographs of these bodies, I saw photographs of the autopsies, and I saw photographs of the internal organs of these beings. It stated that in 1949 another crash had occurred, also in New Mexico, from which they had recovered more bodies, and that they had found 1 live alien creature wandering in the desert. Now you have to understand, just because I saw these documents doesn't mean that all of this actually occurred. These could have been presented to me to make me believe that this had occurred. It stated that they had kept this live alien in captivity until June 2nd, 1952, at which time he died of unknown causes. They instituted a project called Sigma to attempt to contact the race that this being belonged to. Sigma evolved into the National Security Agency. That eventually contact was made. Landings occurred, communication took place, an alliance was agreed upon. This actually was supposedly happened at Muroc, which is now known as Edwards Air Force Base in California, in 1954. President Eisenhower was on vacation at that time in Palm Springs. During this time, you can see by reading the newspapers that he disappeared. The newspapers went crazy. Reporters were combing the countryside looking for the president. They were told that he had suffered a toothache and flown by helicopter to a dentist. Well, this was not true. The true place where he was taken was Muroc, Edwards Air Force Base. The base was closed. This is also on record for 3 days. No one could go in, no one could come out. There are witness accounts that say 3 unidentified flying objects flew over Edwards Air Force Base and landed. We have a letter, which I'm going to show you later, from a Mr. Gerald Blight, who states that he was there when President Eisenhower was there. He saw the ships. He saw these creatures. And that's just the beginning, but I'm not going to go much farther than that right now. We're going to get into some documentation so that your disbelief can start to see that this is not as incredible as it sounds. And I know what some of you must be sitting there thinking. It wasn't too long ago, I could have been thinking the same thing. Now, over the years, if this is real, it's been suppressed and covered up and hidden for very good reasons in the beginning. Reasons that don't stand up now. Reasons that have resulted in criminal activity, in erosion of the Constitution, in all kinds of things. Now, I said that I believe that this is all true. I don't believe that it's a hoax. The evidence is overwhelming that it's true. And by overwhelming, I mean exactly that. When you get into really investigating this, looking at it, the evidence will overwhelm you. It is incredible that such a cover-up has been able to be maintained for so long. On the other hand, I have found references as far back as the beginning of this century by a secret group of very powerful people to create an artificial alien threat from some other planet to help unite all humanity into a one-world government with them at the head. I found a speech given by John Dewey in 1917 to Viscount Ishii and the Japanese delegation in New York City, where the first thing that he says in his speech is, "Someone once told me that the best way to unite all humanity and do away with war is if we were attacked from some other planet by alien beings from outer space." I have found reference in a report called the Report from Iron Mountain to the ultimate method of permanent peace on this earth and uniting humanity, doing away with nation states which cause wars, and substituting for war a tremendously wasteful space program that would unite humanity against an alien threat of an intelligent race from another planet. Now, I didn't know all this when I saw these. Heads of colleges, Jimmy.
Also, we know that Area 51 had, as far as I can document or track it back.
Not credible. Why did you elect me? If we can send...
Put in my mind aside, whatever Tom was trying to tell me would stay a question in my mind for months to come. I went back to Durango and drove to Cortez. I fell in love with that town and knew that this was a hometown I wanted. That fall, I slipped into the area and retrieved the box with the camera and other things. Tom asked me to have faith in him and that no matter what I may hear about him, I should always remember that he is the same man I've known for years. That evening, after dinner, he made several long-distance phone calls.
Other people have seen it fly. I have a photograph of it in my book. I also have a drawing given to me by one of the people who have been there and touched it and seen it. The drawing matches the craft in flight exactly. I'm also going to show you a videotape of another craft, what they call a cigar-shaped craft, above the test site here in just a few moments. So, when you hear people talking about secret weapons, when you see the stealth fighter unveiled, what they have behind it in the wings, that you too can also go see, by the way, in Nevada, if you have the money and the time to go out there and stand in the desert all night. If you look toward Groom Lake between sunset and sunrise on any given night, you can watch them test fly these craft. But you have to be prepared to stay there 2 or 3 nights because they don't always fly every single night. This is the Tonopah area of Nevada. Tonopah Test Range is out in this area. Next. Down here you can see Nellis Air Force Base. See again up here, Tonopah Test Range. Down in here is Mercury. Over here is Groom Lake. Next slide. This is the Tonopah Test Range with some revelations on it. Stealth fighter flight path, turn off to TTR, rocket on stand, radar road, large radar facilities, unmarked runway used by stealth fighters is here. We could go on and on, but we don't have the time. Next. This area is also the test range. Nellis Air. Over here it says Force Base. Gold Flat, you see over here is Tonopah. Right up here it says Saucer Mesa. See that? Saucer Mesa. I don't know if that means anything, but I think that's a hell of a coincidence in an area where they're testing flying saucers, that you've got a name on a map called Saucer Mesa. Next. This is a letter from a man who worked in, and this is in my book, so I'm just going to brush over it lightly, who worked in Area 51 and saw the saucer fly. Next. That's just a lens cap for my camera. We cover up names to protect the identity of people so that they don't get hurt. But in here, he talks about seeing crates labeled Project Redlight. Project Redlight is the name of the project that I saw that flew crashed alien discs and the technology that we had for flying saucers. He also talks about the fact that when a certain siren would go off, they were supposed to run into a building and they couldn't look out the windows. Or if they were caught outside, they all wore a little pouch on their belt that contained a black hood. They were to take the black hood out of the pouch, put it over their head, and lie down on their stomach on the ground and not move. Next. And he goes through, he talks about, he says he saw the pilots. They were human, and they were just slightly larger than he was. Next. This is a saucer developed and flown by the French. It is real. It flies. It's not a joke. Next. It's another view of the same saucer. You can see the hatch down here. This is significant. That is a watertight, airtight hatch.
What kind of technology is that?
Boy, you got me. It says here, it says 3 135 horsepower engines would supply the power. It doesn't say that it did, and it doesn't say what kind of engines. Next. Now, if you remember, not too long ago, Jackie Gleason's wife, after he died, released an unpublished manuscript, and in it, she says that Jackie Gleason told her that he was asked to accompany President Nixon to Homestead Air Force Base, where President Nixon showed him dead alien bodies in a morgue. Jackie Gleason was very much interested in UFOs and all of that kind of stuff, and he was a friend of President Nixon. Nobody knows if the story is true, but I don't think his wife has any reason to lie to us. Why would she want to discredit her dead husband with something ridiculous that wasn't true? Next. And that was the cover of this magazine, June 14th, 1955. Next. In which this story appeared. This was information leaked by a general, and he gave them a scoop. These are actual drawings of a United States Air Force flying saucer, tells how it worked, shows the air base of the future, and what is it? I'll be damned if it isn't an underground base where they can go in and out this way, out cliffs like they do under the Archuleta Mesa near Dulce, New Mexico, or up out the top. What a coincidence. Next. Here we are again at the Nevada Test Range. Next slide. Now, this is Broom Dry Lake right here. Notice it says danger. Right up here is where the 29.5 mile marker is. Right up here somewhere is the little alien. Down here is Las Vegas. This highway goes up out of Las Vegas through Alamo to Ash Springs. Then you take this highway down here to the 29.5 mile marker, and you look directly at Groom Lake on any given night from dusk till dawn, and you will see them fly. You can take photographs of them. You can videotape them. Thousands of people have done it. They have called into radio shows and said what they saw. When Billy Goodman was on KVEG in Las Vegas, every night, dozens of people would call in and report what they saw out there. Next slide. That's Groom Lake again, showing the tunnels that go to Los Alamos and up to Tonopah. Next. These are the facilities at Groom Lake. The United States Air Force and the government say that there is nothing there. It is a barren desert wasteland with a dry lake bed. There is nothing there. This is where they developed the U-2. Next. It's another view of the same thing. Next. Here's another view. Same. Another view. Another view. Another view. I guess by now you all know there's something there. The runway is over 30,000 feet long. That's 6 miles. It's really closer to 7 miles from the people that I've talked to. This is a Next slide. And this is what we've been able to identify as being there. The runway was built in 4 phases. They have a TACAN, which is a tactical navigation tower, navigational aids, access road, refueling ramp, tank farm. Tank farm is fuel tanks. Pipeline, road, housing, MiG haven. They have one of every kind of MiG that was ever built here. Power lines, water supply. This is a National Security Agency, CIA satellite.
It's time to take a trip. This is the Mojave Desert of California and Nevada. What you see here is the atomic test range at the end of the pencil point. It's also an area where many other military and governmental projects are tested and carried out. The U-2, the stealth fighter, the stealth bomber, they were all flown and tested there. That's the area of Groom Dry Lake, also known as Area 51, a super secret, super top secret test area. We're going to start our trip in the city of Las Vegas. I will start in another state, but we're all going to meet in the city of Las Vegas because we all know where that's at. And from the city of Las Vegas, we're going to take 93 R15 north. They're both the same until you reach that point right there, and then 93 branches off, and we want to take 93 north to the city of Alamo and then up to the city of Ash Springs. About 2 to 3 miles north of Ash Springs, we will intersect with Highway 375, and we're going to turn west. That's left on 375. We will go up over Hancock Summit. When we come down the other side, we will see a road that goes straight into the test site, a dirt road, and we will also see the mailbox on the left-hand side where the 29.5 mile marker should be. We'll go over Coyote Summit, and then we'll end up in the little town of Rachel at the Little Alien Inn, where we will get a meal and lodging. This is the test site. Come back to the 29.5 mile marker, put your back to the road, face perpendicular to the road toward the mountains, and you will be looking directly at the Groom Dry Lake test site. For those of you who may be coming from Los Angeles, take Highway 15 to Las Vegas, then 93 up to 275 or 375 west, to the little town of Rachel. That's Highway 375. If you're coming from other areas, just get a map, look at it, find a highway that goes to Las Vegas, and from there take 93 to 375, and you can't miss it. If you're coming from Seattle or Salt Lake City, go south from 70, or from Salt Lake City you can take 15 south and then cut over on 56 to 93 to 375. Good hunting. Let's go.
On top of that mesa near the cross, holding I hear way down deep they're working harder, making lots of clones, and that's just for starters. Come on, you guys in D.C., look around and you can still see before this country spent more cover-up lies. As clouds pass by, I'm sure daydreaming. I have to try and go in there to free them. Oh, don't you know, together we can save them before the EVs strike at you and I. Cold in the sky, cold in the sky, clouds hide the ships in caravans. There's a hole in the sky as they go by. This world gets closer to dreamland. There's holes in the sky. There's holes underground. Wake up, people. Look around.
On this night, nobody recognized me. I grabbed a quick meal, registered under an assumed name, got in my Bronco, and headed back for the mailbox. Well, here it is. The mailbox. The famous mailbox at the 29.5-mile marker on Highway 375 between Rachel and Ash Springs in the state of Nevada. We're about 120 miles north-northwest of Las Vegas in the desert, and it's cold out here. It's about midnight, I think. We've been out here for about 3 hours. The sky is clear. All the stars are out. We've got a quarter moon going on full. And behind me is the Groom Range, the Groom Mountain Range. And on the other side of that mountain range is a super secret testing area called Area 51. It's also known as Groom Dry Lake. And if you're lucky enough to have a map that has it on it, that's how you're going to find it. Look for Groom Dry Lake. Many maps don't show this area. Some maps will have a big danger area designated just behind me, about 15 miles away. We're here to see what we can get on tape, so stick around. As I sat in the cold, dark desert, wondering if I were going to see anything rise up over those mountains in the distance, I thought of the 6 trips that I had made to Groom Lake. This videotape is a composite of footage from all 6 of those trips. Some of the footage is out of sequence. It is being presented to you as one trip. So just remember that while all of the footage you see here is authentic footage, it is presented out of sequence. It is representative of 6 separate trips that I have made to the test site. And it is being presented to you as one trip, as if it had all happened during one trip. On every trip to this test site, I've always been able to hear some kind of tones at night. And the closer I am to my vehicle, the louder the tones seem to be. When I sit inside of my vehicle, they seem to be all around me and very loud. When I get out of the Bronco and walk away from it, then the tones fade into the distance. I have no idea what this represents or what it means. Other people who have been with me have heard the same tones. Carolyn O'Patry, the secretary of a Superior Court judge in San Diego, has sat in the Bronco and has heard the tones near the mailbox on Highway 375, and also at the warning signs right at the border of the test site. Off in the distance, you can hear cattle shuffling around. You can hear the coyotes yapping at the moon. If you're alone, it can be a little scary, a little intimidating. Sometimes a vehicle will pass by on Highway 375. As often as not, no traffic will pass in either direction. On this night, I sat in the dark, drank a Coke, watched the lights of the security vehicles in the distance, and then I was rewarded for my patience. A craft came up over the Groom Mountains, hovered, dropped back down, moved back up into the sky and hovered again, and then flew directly across the Tikaboo Valley, right over my head, displaying the characteristics of what is called a boomerang-shaped UFO. Then later in the morning, around 4 a.m., we believed that we saw it come straight down from the zenith back into the test site. Watch now as I play these scenes for you, over and over again, so that you can experience what I saw in the desert.
I saw it there, up in the sky, the brightest light in the black of night, with these eyes. It seemed to float, it didn't fly. Harmonic disc and the sound of mist and my side. Take me there, take me with you tonight. Take me there, take me with you tonight. Have you come here to stop our fear, or even the scar for nuclear war in some forgotten year? Teach me how your light ships run. Harmonic disc, please take me with. Let's fly through the sun. Take me there, take me with you tonight. Take me there, take me with you tonight. It came down low and it passed me by, a wounded star straying far. Look out, you're too close, get over the mountain high, way up, way up, way up you go. Take me there, take me with you tonight. Take me there, take me with you
I hope you noticed that the object as it flew directly over our heads appeared to be boomerang-shaped, or at least the front of it was in the configuration of a stealth bomber, and conformed to the reports made all over the world of UFOs, silent, unidentified flying objects that could hover, as this one did, could fly at great speed, as this one did, and demonstrated the shape of a boomerang. I have also seen other types of unidentified flying objects over the test site. one of which I photographed, and it is almost exactly the same as the photograph that Gary Schultz made from the mailbox location at the 29.5-mile marker on Route 375. So I'm going to show those to you next, and then we're going to take a trip up to the warning signs in the morning and see how close we can get legally without breaking any laws. This is a black and white photograph of one of the craft flying above the test site that I took using the push process development of film. And I want you to notice that when I show you the photograph that I published in my book, which was contributed by Gary Schultz and taken from the mailbox location at the test site by Mr. Schultz, that these two craft are identical. And then I'm going to show you a drawing that was also published in the appendix of my book, given to me by someone who claimed to have first-hand knowledge of what these craft are, and who claims to have actually seen one at Norton Air Force Base. So compare the three, and you'll see that definitely they conform. They are the same craft, in my opinion. However, you can make your own judgment. This is the photograph that was taken by Gary Schultz, which he so kindly allowed me to publish in the appendix of my book, Behold a Pale Horse. You can notice the similarity. They are almost exactly identical. He took his on a color film. I don't know exactly what type of film he used, but they are the same craft. Now watch as I show you the drawing furnished by a source whom I cannot name, and I hope you will understand that. This is the drawing of the craft that appears in the appendix of my book. I cannot reveal the source because the source would be in danger. You can see, though, for yourself that there are two seats plainly in view in this drawing, and what appears to be maybe two other seats around behind that center apparatus, whatever it may be. You can also see that there is an airtight, watertight door, similar to the doors that we used on board the submarine that I was on, the USS Tyro SS-416. You can also see from the cutaway that it appears to be some kind of electromagnetic drive. Although I'm not a physicist, I don't pretend to know how this is driven. Just from looking at it, that's what it appears to me to be. You make your own decisions, however. Now let's take a trip up the road from the mailbox to the Steve Medlin Ranch and down to see how far we can go legally to the test site.
All you fans that live in La La Land, and tell all you fans that live in La La Land.
A friend of mine told me about a mountain which the Air Force failed to grab in their famous land theft that's still on the public land, in public domain. He said that he had been to the top of this mountain and had looked right down into the test site itself. The purpose of the Air Force land grab was to prevent that from happening. This is that mountain, and tonight myself and a few friends plan to climb up there and videotape the test site. The test site is in that general direction, right straight to the left down that valley. It is impossible to see it from any location other than a high point, and that mountain is the only one left. This is looking back toward Hancock Summit. You can see the test site dirt road goes straight up and intersects Highway 375. And you can see the highway snaking up through the Hancock Pass. It's barren out here. There is literally nothing. Joshua trees, shrubs, sagebrush. That's about it. Cactus, rattlesnakes. Now we're going to head back up the dirt road to the intersection of Highway 375 and then look back so that you can see what it looks like from the highway. Well, that's where we just came from. You're looking back down the road right into the test site, and to the right you can see one of the frequent gigantic dust devils that show up in this area from time to time. They're fascinating to watch. They're actually a small model of a tornado caused by heat rising. This is on telephoto looking all the way down the road where we came from. And now it's time to go get some breakfast. I'm hungry. On the way back, we stopped at the mailbox so that Annie could give us a description of what she sees in the area. What can you see, Annie?
What I see is all the mountains and nothing's here.
Desert?
Desert.
You see anything out in the distance at all?
Well, I can see some snow on the top of the mountain. That's about it.
Did you see anything earlier?
Yeah, I have seen 3 airplanes pass by.
Were they flying high?
Yeah, pretty high.
Were any of them real low?
One's really low.
Was it a big plane?
Yeah, it's a big one. And the others, I think, kind of high.
Off in the distance, we spotted the dust cloud on the Groom Lake access road, and there was a vehicle going so fast that I could hardly believe my eyes. We have no idea who it was or why they were going so fast, but as you can see, this person had to be going close to, oh God, I don't know, looks to me like he's going pretty close to 100 miles an hour down a dirt road that's very bumpy and very unstable, even for a four-wheel drive vehicle like the Bronco. Well, we're still on the way back to get some breakfast, but I wanted to stop here and show you one of the many little four-wheel drive trails that I've explored on my 6 trips into this area. But I want to advise you not to do it. Don't go off on these little trails and these little roads, simply because the security people can be very intimidating, very threatening. They do flash weapons around. They will threaten you with prosecution for espionage, and occasionally you'll be harassed by helicopters if you get too close to the test site in some of these offbeat trails. Now you can see that it goes right over the top of the saddle between those 2 peaks, and it's an interesting little trail, but that's all I can say about it. We're going to pan the camera around to the left here, and you'll be looking back toward Hancock Summit down the highway. And then we're going to continue on and get some gas, and then we'll get some breakfast. Well, there's the little town of Rachel. We're going to stop and get some gas up here pretty soon. We went across the Tickaboo Valley up over Coyote Summit, and this is Rachel that we're coming up on now. Make sure that you stop and get gas when you're at Rachel, and try to keep your gas tank full all the time because it's quite a ways to any gas station. It's 110 miles to Tonopah, and it's about 50 or 60 miles back to Alamo, maybe farther than that. Well, we filled up our tanks. This Bronco's got a big V8 engine, the biggest they had when it was built, so we took 20 gallons. And I got to tell you, no matter how much it takes, it's always best to have a good full tank out here. And a big jug of ice water. Make sure you bring plenty of water out in this desert, and make sure you've got a vehicle that you don't have to worry about. Good tires, and everything works. If you've got a car that you have to worry about, don't drive out here. Please don't drive out here, because you're going to get broken down and stuck, and all kinds of things might happen. Well, here we are. Time to get some breakfast. It's a good thing they serve breakfast all day, because it's late morning. In fact, I believe it's almost noon. There's the sign that you'll see. And you can see that the road's a little bumpy coming in here to the parking lot, but the parking lot is a nice paved lot. Oh man, I can just about smell the food cooking. Pat is an excellent cook, and I just can't wait to get some of her good cooking. Now, on this little jot, I was recognized, and everybody in there knows who I am. And that was Joe.
Let that chore go. She gets called in those things.
This is Pat's kitchen, and Pat's cooking breakfast for Annie and I.
Got it. Good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
And I like to cook.
Oh boy, does that look good.
Probably more at home out here than any place else.
How long have you been cooking here, Pat?
Almost 3 years.
And that's when you opened?
That's when we opened. August will be 3 years.
What has all this alien business done for you guys?
Oh, it's kind of picked up and it's been a lot of fun. Serious enough that we changed our name.
Do a lot of people come and...
We have people come here every day looking for answers to questions or exchanging information on the UFO activity, either in our area or other areas, and we've learned an awful lot.
I bet they love your cooking, don't they?
I haven't had too many complaints.
Well, our meal last night certainly was excellent, and I'm looking forward to this breakfast.
Well, good.
While waiting for breakfast, I thought I'd pan around and just show you some of the things that are on the walls. These are pictures of General Ramey trying to explain away the Roswell crash as a weather balloon. One of his warrant officers, a meteorological specialist, also said it was a weather balloon. And on the right you can see Jesse Marcel, Major Marcel, holding pieces of what was purported to be a weather balloon. Of course, he said in his own interview later, many years later, that it certainly was not a weather balloon. It wasn't anything that he was familiar with at all in his experience. These are just some of the photographs of UFOs that Pat and Joe have collected from visitors and from their own efforts. And these are what are purported to be alien beings. The only one that looks familiar to me from my naval intelligence days is the one on the top right. The others are reported by abductees and people who claim to have contact all the time. This is what Pat and Joe affectionately call the Rachel Wall of Fame. You can see it has the winning baseball team and some of the local people on there who have done some things that are noteworthy. And one of the desert characters that live in the area on the top right there.
Well, we've enjoyed all the people that we've met while we've been here. It's people from our own country, people from all kinds of other countries. And every one of them are just absolutely exquisite. Whether they're here just traveling through to see our great country, or whether they're really here to come and look for the UFOs.
As you can see, Rachel is a very tight-knit little community. There's only one picture on that board that really shouldn't be there. On Rachel days, they had a big parade. Billy Goodman. He's been thrown off of more radio shows and out of more radio stations just for trying to get the truth on the air than anybody else in America.
Well, we came here 3 years ago. The place was a mess. We just tore it down, cut it out, redid the inside. And after that, we heard that we were being talked about on radio and various shows. So we decided we would call the place Little Alien, because they were talking about UFOs and people from outer space and such. So we decided that we would go along with the theme, you know.
What was the name of your establishment before?
The Rachel Bar and Grill.
Rachel's Bar and Grill, and this is the town of Rachel.
This is Rachel.
On 375. About how far is this from Ash Springs, Joe?
Ash Springs is about 45 miles.
And it's due east, isn't it?
Well, pretty much. It's mostly east and south a little.
What's the best time for people to come up here and look around and have a good time and eat some good food?
Well, just any time. There's no, there isn't any set pattern. Just, we have good food all the time. Drinks are always cold.
I know Andy and I came up here intentionally on a Sunday so that we might not find too many people here. When can people come up and there might be a few more people sitting around?
Well, that's any given day. Just we never know. It's unpredictable. Just any time.
I've heard Wednesday's a good time. Is that true?
That's been. Well, there's been people reporting Wednesday morning, with Thursday morning, Wednesday night. It's quite active over there. But then you never know. You know, it can happen any time.
Yeah. Well, I guess you've met a lot of interesting people and made a lot of new friends.
Oh, you bet.
Probably learned a lot of new things.
You know, I can't put it all in one. I can't put it all in writing out there. You know, it's just amazing.
Well, that's great.
All the information that's available it's really mind-boggling. So many people are interested in this UFO thing.
Well, we finally got our breakfast. That's little Pooh, little Dorothy, my daughter. And she's already eating. There's Annie, my wife. And there's just one of the most wonderful breakfasts that I've ever seen in my life. Look at that. Grits are hard to find. I asked Pat for grits, and I got them. Beautiful eggs, 2 giant sausage patties, a giant plate of toast, jam, jelly, butter. Good company, good food. You just can't ask for anything more than that. While I was eating, I looked around, and what did I see? This little fella, tacked up on a door, eating strawberry ice cream. We took Joe's advice and came back on a Wednesday night. As I walked in the door, the room was full of people. I recognized Anthony J. Hilder from Radio Free America, whom I'd done many talk radio spots with. Norio Hayakawa, Gary Schultz was there. Charles Wren of Millennium Productions, a Japanese film crew from Tokyo, Japan, and many other television crews were present. In fact, the TV cameras almost outnumbered the people. Later, George Knapp from KLAS and a camera crew would show up from Las Vegas, Channel 8, along with John Lear and Bob Lazar. We moved around the room and talked to many people that we haven't seen in quite a while. Some of them we met in my lecture trips around this country. Charles Wren of Millennium Productions was later that night to make his mark on history as the first civilian ever to get real live footage, video footage, of the installations in Groom Dry Lake, also known as Area 51. Charles was a part of an expedition put together by Gary Schultz and myself to trek up the mountain that I showed you earlier in this videotape and attempt to do exactly what Charles did. Half of the expedition, led by me, stopped at an intermediate level. Gary Schultz managed to reach not the highest peak, but the second to the highest peak, where Charles Wren was able to gather his historic footage. You'll see the results of that expedition later in this videotape. Right now, let's watch and listen as Anthony J. Hilder introduces the first speaker at this historic first UFO convention ever conducted near the test site at the Little Alien in Rachel, Nevada.
Gathered here tonight not to discuss so much whether or not there is saucer activity in Groom Lake and Papoose Lake. Thanks to individuals like Bill Cooper, Gary Schultz, Norio Hayakawa, Bob Lazar and company, that's a matter of fact. It's a given. That's not the purpose of our gathering here tonight. We know that the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Skull and Bones.
Anthony went into great detail about the secret societies and groups that really control this country and who may be in secret possession of this technology which we call UFOs. Then he got into some of the most serious aspects of this phenomenon.
Medical experiments are being performed on human beings. I don't know how many of you think about this. But if we do nothing, if we say nothing, if we don't speak up now, we may have a world that is controlled by individuals of this New World Order who are in league with the devil. Literally. I think the New World Order is the New World Odor. It's time that we incite a revelation to avoid a revolution in this country. I'm proud of each and every one of you that's come here tonight, and I hope that you learn a great deal from our first speaker, and I'd like you to give him a round of applause, Norio Hayakawa. Norio?
Yeah, thank you very much for coming to this unprecedented event at this alien, and thanks to the hospitality of Pat and Joe Travis, we are able to have this event tonight. And I think that rather than to really antagonize people and so on, I think our main objective, of course, is to basically have a good time, okay, but also to learn something and also to reflect on ourselves what we're doing here. And it's my understanding that if there are workers here, of course we welcome them, and what we of course need, of course, is further input, and we trust that we're very would like to be, of course, very discreet about this entire thing, and it's for the benefit of the community. And also tonight, I understand that there are some groups, basically, that the Rural Association members are here, the Rama, and also confident, and I understand, by the way, that within 12 to 18 months from now, some sort of an announcement or some sort of Freedom of Information Act release will be made, both from the Area 51 area and also Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It's my understanding they are going to allow release from the Freedom of Information Act from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, possibly within the next 18 months, 12 to 18 months. And we are told that we cannot park our cars on a county dirt road. We have to act. So please remember this. And later on, after this 2-hour presentation, response. And the entire world by now knows the most popular spot in Area 51 from which to observe these unconventional aircraft is the famous mailbox area. Now, the mailbox area is a very, very nice area. This is the most common place. Gary Schultz and may I just, yeah, okay.
Let me do a little further introduction of Gary Schultz. I met Gary about 20 years ago, and he worked with me in a psychological warfare center in Century City. He's a phenomenal guy. He's a fanatic. He's like a mongoose after the cobra. He will not let go. He will not let go of this issue. I think between Nori, Ohio Power, and Gary Schultz, and other individuals in this room, this story is breaking worldwide. Take a look at the cameras in this room. I mean, this is, you know, this is like the outback in Australia, for God's sakes, and in the United States of America. Take a look at the people in this room. I'd like to ask those in the room to... Bill Cooper, good God, he's been on this for as long as I've known him. His book, Behold the Pale Horse, is phenomenal. I've had him on as a guest probably 4 or 5 times. We're going to do a 30-hour special to break this story from border to border and coast to coast. It is not going to happen. It is happening.
A major step in their life, as he has done, needs the support of a good close friend, and thank you for supporting him. Next, I want to thank, and this is rather paradoxical, I sat in an audience of about 2,000 people at Hollywood High School Auditorium on Sunday, November 5, 1989, listening to Bill Cooper. And I had heard him on the radio about 2 or 3 weeks before on Tom Likas, KFI. He's a LA radio talk show host. And that's what got my wheels turning. And then, when I heard him speak, he really got my attention when I learned there was a place that I could go to see these craft. And I thought, well, this is simple enough. I'll go there and perform that simple test. And although the first time I went in early January, I didn't see anything, I learned out later on, Saturday nights are dead. But what was important was I met several people there who had been there before and had seen plenty. And besides, I had been told by Stan Barrington, Bill Cooper's close friend, that it's a crapshoot every time you go out, and although on some nights you will see nothing, on other nights you'll go out and all hell will break loose. So we determined, of course, we were going to go back numerous times to really challenge this proposal. I said to Pearl here, we're going out on Wednesday night, and that's when we determined to go out on Wednesday, February 28th. Nobody else was able to go, and Pearl says, "Are you sure you want to go with nobody else going?" I said, "Of course." I said, "Think of this show. It's broadcast all over the western states. Think of the thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps, of people listening to it, and the information is filtering all over the world. People will be there from all over Europe, Australia, everywhere, to say nothing of Las Vegas, which is so close." I said, "Let's go. There'll be plenty of people there." We went, and nobody was there. We were it. And suddenly, at 7:30 p.m., the first saucer came on. And I was sitting in a lawn chair beside the car, and I about jumped out. I was ready. I had my camera in hand, and I jumped up and started flashing away. 5 more saucers came up, and that photograph is a result of the closest encounter with one of those 6 saucers that night, and I was convinced. I'm a bit more avant-garde than Norio.
All life is spiritual. Have you had the feeling there's something deep inside? Your sixth sense time clock is reeling towards a future that's yours to find. The daily life and daily strife goes on to the end, but like the ocean tide, truth comes again and again. Take back the power you gave, take back authority, insert the world you made beyond eternity. Life and love and liberty walk hand in hand with those who will see. Limitations are not for the bold. Chains are chains, whether iron or gold. Have you had the feeling there's someone looking inside? It's there then gone, maybe fleeting, even hours of missing time. What they used to subdue you was a sound and a flash of light. They imitate the great sound of you. You will banish the night. Take back the power you gave. Take back authority. Insert the world you made beyond eternity. Life and love and liberty walk hand in hand with those who will see. Limitations are not for the bold. Chains are chains, whether iron or gold. There's a false wind blowing through this land, and every one of you must wake up knowing every woman and man your government has been dealing you a lying, a cheating hand. All I have is belief. It's science art that's breathing with life from the cosmic sea. I've seen it work on even the worst of metallic implantees. When fears around, sing this sound first. You is a natural ease. You is a natural ease. You is a natural ease.
What a night. When the conference finally ended, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, and those of us who were participating in the expedition scrambled for our vehicles. Approximately 8 other cars followed us out to the base of the mountain. I took the lead in the Bronco, followed by the four-wheel drive Jeep. 8 other vehicles followed along behind the Jeep, full of well-wishers and onlookers, some of whom camped at the base of the mountain all night, but did not climb up with us. Bringing up the rear was a Lincoln County Sheriff's Department patrol car, which Sheriff Dahl had sent with us to make sure that we went to the right place, stayed out of trouble, that all cars were parked off the county roads, and that no one harassed us. Thank you, Sheriff Dahl and your deputies, for your consideration and for your help. When we reached the area near the mountain, those of us with four-wheel drive vehicles took off across the desert. The rest parked and waited. It was dark, but later on the moon came out. We thought it would be an easy climb, but we were met with sheer drop-offs, cliffs, steep gullies, rocks, cactus, and occasionally in the distance you could hear the rattle of a snake. Those of us in my party stopped at an intermediate level. We didn't get to see what Gary Schultz's party saw later on in the night, but we sure had one heck of a good time.
Can you see me in there?
I'm looking. Oh, my God, there he is.
You find me?
I found you.
That's my foot.
Is this thing still on?
Yeah. Just press the button.
Or maybe that's what I've become since I've been up here.
Or a mountaintop pebble.
Yeah, whatever.
Look at that big pebble over there.
What is it, 2 lux?
1 lux.
1 lux.
Yeah. You can see it looks just like daylight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
On the rocks.
Say some words of wisdom, Nuri.
I'm run out of that. Well, I just say I am disappointed. Nothing come out.
Well, I mean, you know, when we have a meeting here, right? And Rachel and advertise it, and KLAS television comes up, you don't think they're going to bring up the saucers for us? Right? Doesn't make much sense. Does it, Bill?
No.
No, of course not. I don't know what exactly to say. I get sort of staggered. Trying to put, it's difficult to put all my words together. Bill. You've done a fine job on the book, and if you want an endorsement from me, just
send me a self-addressed stamp.
Self-addressed stamp.
Oh boy. where all the cars are parked, except for ours. We lost ours. I see somebody way down there walking around, so we know not everybody came up here. No? Don't see it anywhere. Well, here we are on the mountaintop in the middle of the Nevada desert, looking for lights in the sky. How dumb can you get?
Well, there is a big light in the sky right above us. The moon.
The moon.
The moon?
That's the light.
The moon at half day.
The moonies. There's Anthony's belly button.
Good Lord.
And there's where the real crazies went, over there. I'm looking for them. I don't see hiding their hair.
We were coming up here, so they didn't come out.
Yeah. They're not going to give us a show today.
Oh, there they are. I see them.
You do?
Yep. I sure do.
You see them on the hill?
Yep.
Are they in the top?
On the top of the first hill. Yep, there they are.
Gary Schultz and his party managed to reach the second to the highest peak on the target mountain. As they looked out toward Groom Dry Lake, this is what they saw. It was extremely difficult to focus the camera, but Charles Wren has to go down in history for being the first civilian ever, to our knowledge, to bring back real live video footage of the actual installations at Groom Dry Lake, also known as Area 51, that the government, the Air Force, the Navy, the Atomic Energy Commission, and every department of government has denied exists at all. This proves that is a lie.
Only way to pass your time. This is boring. You can get a good light, a good shot at that. I don't. Is that really what we're looking at? I mean, is this what we think?
Yeah,
it is?
that's Groom Lake. That's it. The hangars.
Why would they? This is a question though that's legitimate. Why would they leave themselves open to us being able to come right up here and look at it?
Well, this isn't exactly an easy thing to find.
Yeah, because look at
the bullshit
we went through to get
but
here.
look how desperate we are as seekers. You know. Hey, it's a loophole myself.
Well, hey, it's more or less like, you know,
Yeah.
before they had even a bigger leak.
But
And
you
then
know
they
what?
took all the mountains they could get. They
Yeah.
figured they had it sewed up pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that they've gone this far,
Right,
that's
since
right.
there is one little leak,
That's
what
right.
are they going to do? Take 20 miles more of mountains?
Exactly. And it's faster.
To plug up
And by the
another
way,
hole?
Bald Mountain is right over there. We're hiding behind that hill from Bald Mountain. Isn't that great? Those fuckers can't see us from their observation post. Their spy post. This is great.
You know, they could have built it down there about 40 miles down, right? Like you're saying. But see, that's 40 miles closer for us too.
Right.
Now it may be harder for us to view it, but it's 40 miles closer. Most people would probably coming up this extra 40 miles say, "Fuck it," because
Right.
you know I ain't gonna go all the way, and there may not be nothing happening.
True.
And then again, when I do get up, I have to hike 2.5 goddamn or 2 miles or whatever, up, or a mile, whatever the hell, up this hill and.
You know, it doesn't look like that many lights, you know, necessarily looking from here. When you look through the binoculars, there's a shitload of stuff
Oh,
over
good.
there.
Let me see the binoculars. Does anybody have binoculars?
Here we go.
Oh, thanks, Jerry. Let me get my glasses off here. There's a strap for you. All right.
Between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. Thursday morning, Gary and his party watched this plane approach the runway and land at the facilities at Groom Dry Lake. Watch closely, and you can see the plane land directly in front of the lights. Later, as Charles Wren films the installation during daylight, you can see the runway in this exact position. We watched on the ridge below, and Gary's party watched this plane approach inside the mountains and then land on the runway. We could not see the plane actually land where we were at, but we knew that it never came up from the valley once it descended down below the mountains. Watch carefully and you'll see the plane taxi up to the facilities. We believe this is the plane that brings some of the workers Others that live in the Tickaboo Valley area of Alamo and Rachel enter the test site on the dirt road by bus.
Man, they... Have you ever heard anything about the light down here?
Well, go off the road.
Well, that's pretty close to the road, though. For campers,
Yeah, but none of those guys. It looks like they got their back, their reverse, heading in reverse with the license. And 1, 2, 3. There's the camper and the van.
See those things?
Yeah, the camper and the van are parked almost. What the van right behind it. Probably one of the guys on the fucking. How many people came up there anyway? Maybe it's that black dude that was in that little. There was like, let me see, there was 6 people. Okay, well. Maybe this guy. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, all you have to do is jump off. Where's that? Oh, he's over there. It doesn't look like it's that big. It's a territory until you see a human walking around. I wonder if this is over here, that real light. I was going to mention weird little people come out. Well, it's been confirmed by, well, not confirmed, but mentioned by others, you know.
Kids. Oh, shoot. No saucers, though, huh? Dang. Well, they could have come up earlier. Next time we'll have to come up here in the late afternoon.
Yeah. Let's come up here when it's about 110.
Yeah, right. Well, not cool, isn't it?
Gary, do you know?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably underground springs or something.
I think I see the guard shack, and
You see it, Jerry?
I think I do. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, you should be able to see it from here.
But that's another. That's not the guard shack you and I approached, Gary.
You make them sound big, you build them up high. You alter all the history books so the truth becomes a lie. No dirty deeds can stand apart from actions at their cause. No phony hero history can make up for broken laws. Educate the people was the Jefferson command. National security excuses weren't used then. You think you can act this way and slip it right on by. To hurt just one of your native sons is an incorrect reply. We know the heroes that took a risky stand. Some have died, but all have tried to keep this a free, free land. You bought up all the media to keep the secret live. Behind closed doors on foreign shores, our fate you will decide. No 9-member group of men should have at its command the destiny of all the world to mold with so few hands. Print your headlines, fan the fires of hate throughout this land. Majority rules and we're just fools, too few to make a stand. You may hypnotize majorities with electronic hands, but the rest of us will stand and fight. We're the resistance band. One world order sounds nice to us, but the people should get to vote for it to be just. If you continue to manipulate, the people will stand, take back this land. The Constitution we will reinstate. We know the heroes that took a risky stand. Some died, but all have tried to keep this a free, free land.
Each of us must tread the pathways of our destiny alone, learning life's lessons and assimilating our experiences into all that makes up who we are. There is no greater harm that can be done than to interfere in even one person's journey of life. Yet through the ages, there have always been those insecure souls who on their way to maturity must manipulate every situation, including people, places, and things. It has been said that if a politician or even the supreme publicist of these unified sectors of that line could truly view their little selves from beyond, they would never again hunger for any earthly thing. But since this is the world of learning, there will always be tyrants and their slaves, and there will always be the eagles and swordsmen of the light that come to show the way out of this phony prison. We salute all those who stand up for freedom in times of peril. We know the heroes.